everybody, my name is Manculosaurus, and this is Dice&Dinosaurs, my YouTube channel where I talk about nerdy things being combined with other nerdy things. I've been incredibly excited about Commander Legends Battle for Baldurs Gate, but I don't think the same thing can be said for everyone online, unfortunately. I feel like every day I see somebody new who's complaining that they're not reprinting something, or that the cards are all from D&D lore and not Magic lore. On one hand, I don't want to miss out on a reason to be a grumpy old man, not that I have a choice anymore, I turned 30 last year and it's required by law. Of course, on the other hand,
I love Dungeons and Dragons.
And that's what these cards are, so I like them all. How the hell am I supposed to get mad about my favorite game being put into Magic the Gathering? They're not making a new Bahamut. What?! In all seriousness, the new set looks amazing, and today I want to look through some of the cards and mechanics and see how they hold up from the perspective of a Dungeons & Dragons player. Before we start, I got 2 points to make. 1. Not all the cards have been revealed at the time of writing the script, so I'm probably going to look pretty silly when this gets uploaded. And 2. I am a very casual Magic player. Hell, right now, I'm just hoping they print another 5-color commander. Not that I'm opposed to buying a second teal. Because some of the new dragons we've seen have a roll a d20 mechanic, so I just want to put all of them in a deck. Will it be even remotely viable? Hell no! Is it gonna fill the void I have in my chest from lack of Dungeons and Dragons? Actually, WotC, or Wizards of the Coast if you're not one of those cool kids like me, have put all of the metallic dragons from the original Monster Manual in this set, which were notably not included in the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. And they're adding in gemstone dragons, which were first introduced into D&D, and Fizzbands! A book all about dragons that was first introduced to D&D last year that honestly deserves its own video. Changing things up from the last set based on Dungeons & Dragons, where the legendary monocolored dragons were introduced to Magic before they were introduced to D&D. There actually aren't legendaries of the metallic Great Worms yet, despite them coming out in Fizzbands! Yeah, shit. Yeah, shit. Metallic Great Worm. Right there. Give me that. I want it. I want in Magic. Put in Magic. Do it. If this sounds like a lot, that's because it is. Do you know how many dragons were in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms? 16! Do you know how many dragons are going to be in Baldurs Gate? 59! That's more than triple! Unfortunately, there are only 13 dragon commanders in Baldur's Gate. Oh wait! Adventures in the Forgotten Realms only had 7! I mean, that's just kind of a nitpick I had with the last set, but it's half the fucking name! You better put some more dragons in there! 2 of the mechanics attached to these dragons are actually returning mechanics from past sets. We've got adventures making their return from Throne of Eldraine, and we've got my favorite mechanic, rolling d20s. Which means I actually get to use these again! It's been so long. I just want to roll some dice.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
So we've got adventure cards like Amethyst Dragon / Explosive Crystal, and we've got cards that work with adventures, albeit not spectacularly, like Candlekeep Mysteries. Not only do we have the ancient metallic dragons, they all have a roll a d20 mechanic attached to them whenever they attack. We also have cards like Cone of Cold and Journey to the Lost City that both have you roll a d20 and give you different effects dependent on the result. There's even Will, Blade of Frontiers, that gives you advantage on your d20 rolls, and lets you choose a background, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. This mechanic, of course, is from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, and unlike another mechanic from that set and this one that I could mention, this one is extremely fun!
More like extremely tedious.
Just let me have my click-clack rocks, alright? Speaking of which, we also have some kick-ass Easter eggs, card names. You know that thing they do in movies when they just say the name of the movie and you go, "Ooh, it's the name of the movie!" They have cards like that. The adventure stuff. something things. It's based on adventure names. I don't know. We got 5 different cards, each one a different color, and each one based on a location in the Forgotten Realms. They have Ravenloft, Caves of Chaos, Undermountain, White Plume, and Tomb of Horrors. And that last one will probably sound familiar because it's a very famous dungeon that was created all the way back in 1978 with the sole purpose of killing your player character. It's basically the Dungeons & Dragons equivalent of a Dark Souls boss. The cards also come with a new mechanic called the Initiative, which of course is referencing Initiative in D&D, which is just how quickly your character acts in combat. So that's an easy mechanic to translate. Magic the Gathering must have made some kind of mechanic that interacts with haste.
No way. We got you. Not a chance. Not this time. It never happened.
The Initiative puts you in a new dungeon specific to Baldur's Gate called the Undercity. So if you didn't like dungeons in Forgotten Realms, have I got bad news for you! Now, everyone runs a dungeon, even if your deck is not based around them. As soon as somebody slaps down that Ravenloft adventurer, guess what? You're along for the ride! That is, of course, after everybody gets out their obligatory groans. I'm glad they put in dungeons! It's a cool inclusion! It's the other half of the name, for fuck's sake! But I'm not going to game night with my dungeon tokens in tow. There are also cards that give you bonuses for completing dungeons. So that's cool, I guess. I'm glad it's here, I'm just not probably going to particularly invest in it that much. Next we have backgrounds! Backgrounds in D&D are something that you can choose at the beginning of making your character that's always with you. It gives you different benefits depending on which one you choose. Backgrounds in Magic the Gathering are something that you choose when you make your deck that are always with you. They give you different benefits depending on which one you choose, which is really good to see. I think backgrounds work really well as a reference to D&D. So backgrounds are enchantments, they're also commanders, but they're not like the gods in past sets. It's weird, but definitely interesting. The catch is that they have to be played with a creature that says choose a background on it, giving you 2 commanders. It's basically the partner mechanic again. What originally worried me about backgrounds is that they won't have enough options to really make them viable, or they're going to be just a one-set gimmick, but since then, they added a lot of them into the set. In Baldur's Gate, there are 30 backgrounds, and that's just the enchantment half. The other half, the creatures that say choose a background, have 32 of them. What's interesting about backgrounds is that they're all monocolored, so you could have a commander that says choose a background that's one color and a background that's a different color. Or you could have them both be the same color, but, I mean, more color good! So, do that! I can also mention the sheer amount of books and monsters and spells and campaigns and modules that they've added into Baldur's Gate, but we'd be here forever and that probably needs its own video.